Your brother, your friend, your dietitian, back again for another installment in spirit. Nutrition. The soul of a free man or the soul of a slave? Let's get it popping. Where am I? I'm in Venice, California, aka Los Angeles, California. The beach. It's winter time. It's about 75 degrees. You see people with no clothes on, stretching with their dogs, relaxing, enjoying life. I'm out here reading a book known as The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a book that details parables, wisdom, how to build wealth, how to earn money, how to retain finance and wealth. It has ancient wisdom from the ancient ones, from the Moors, from those that had knowledge of wisdom, knowledge of wealth and wisdom, dealing with abundance and how to maintain it. But there's a story of a young man that's being crippled by his debts, and basically the debts are holding this young man back from living life to the fullest. And he meets one of his debtors along the road, and the debtor, or the man who, not the debtor meets the guy that he owes, and he pulls him aside, pulls him into a market, into a restaurant, and he begins to tell a story. He tells a story of how he used to be in debt, and he used to be a slave, and how he had to decide if he had the soul of a free man or the soul of a slave. And that was his test. And he realized that he had the soul of a free man, and so he eventually escaped from his servitude, from his serfdom, from his slavery, and became an honorable, wealthy man in the city of Babylon. And he asked his debtor, he asked the young man who was crippled by his debts, who was ashamed by his debts, who was being shackled by his debts, are you going to be a slave or are you going to be a free man? Are you going to be shackled by your debts, or are you going to free yourself up? Are you going to have determination, or are you going to give in? And so he basically said that someone with the soul of a free man can't remain a slave. So you have to ask yourself, do I have the soul of a free man or woman, or do I have the soul of a slave? There's a matrix out here that's been set up for us, and people go along in that matrix without asking questions, and they even attack those that ask questions about the matrix. And sometimes I wonder, why do I stand out like a sore thumb? But it's because I have a soul of a free man and not the soul of a slave. So you can ask yourself, what are you doing to show and prove whether you have a soul of a free man or the soul of a slave? Are you complacent? Are you accepting of the status quo? Are you going along with the flow, ossifying in inertia like a fossil, or like you a plant that's always growing, that's always reaching towards the sun rays? You have to determine what you are and who you are. And the lesson from the parable was that the young man was asking, okay, if I have the soul of a free man, I can feel it, but how will I pay off my debts? How will I get out of this rut? And the answer from the man who was previously a slave but was a wealthy merchant now, he said that if there's determination, the way will be found. So where there's a will, there's a way, as they say. It sounds cliche, but as you get older and more wise, you realize what those people were really talking about, and they were speaking the truth. So ask yourself, do you have the soul of a free man or the soul of a slave? Where there's determination, you can find a way. Your brother, your friend, your dietitian, back again for another installment in spirit. Nutrition. Peace.